Hello everyone, this is Olga Atamanova. I welcome you at Ukrinform Media Center. This is the 91st day of the war. Our team has scheduled the following events. At 12:30 Kiev time, we will have Serhiy Babak, a member of parliament and also the head of the Parliament Committee on Education, Science and Innovation. We will be discussing the work of schools and university entrance during this war. At 2:30, we will have Remedier Flo, the deputy head of the EU embassy in Ukraine, and afterwards, at 3, we will have Alexander Matysyanik, the Speaker of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. And right now we have with us Vyacheslav Chaus, the governor of Chernihiv Oblast. Hello. So we will be discussing the situation in Chernihiv region. Can you please share what is the current situation, what is the situation with people coming back, and how was the night in your region? As of today, in our region, it is relatively calm. The enemy continues shelling the territories near the border every day, every night. It is happening in the northern area of the oblast from the territory of the Russian Federation. Praise God, these shellings did not bring any casualties, but we all remember that quite recently we had a missile attack in the Desna town, and there were many casualties there. And speaking of the numbers of those dead, can we share this information now? We know about 87 people dead and also over 30 people injured in the town of Desna. And the enemy continues. There's the shellings, they are happening daily in the territories along the border in the northern part of the oblast. This is happening. People are coming back to Chernihiv. Many people have come back already. In the most critical times, 1/3 of the residents were staying, and right now we have 2/3. And on May 10th, there were additional temporary restrictions introduced in Chernihiv Oblast that have to do with restrictions of movement near the border. Are there any outcomes? Yes, so they were introduced to save lives of our citizens, and the Muscovites have left lots of explosives after them. We have unexploded remnants of war, which have not exploded for multiple reasons, and also the enemy has left lots of mines. They have mined all the territories they were passing through. So there are representatives of the State Emergency Service and other services working there. Over 25,000 dangerous objects were diffused in the oblast already. This is a huge number, but the number of those objects staying there is still higher. So I do not advise anyone to attend forest or parks wherever the enemy was staying. Speaking of demining of localities, can we say that it is over already in the territorial communities? Well, the communities, yes, these works are completed. all of them have been demined by our search and rescue teams. So there may be some mines still there, and the enemy has left a lot. And the day before yesterday, there was an explosion of a tractor on the anti-tank mine. So these mines will still be discovered for quite some time, but still the officers of the emergency service have been to all the communities. Right now they are going through the fields and critical infrastructure. There is a sowing campaign, maybe 30% less than other year, but the sowing was completed thanks to the emergency services that demined the fields so quickly and effectively. And what is your assessment of the losses of the destructions caused by the Russian Federation and other works for the restoration of the infrastructure already starting? Well, there are direct losses and indirect ones. So speaking of financial assessments, a lot has yet to be done to get a number. And speaking of the buildings, 3,700 were destroyed. Lots of them are residential buildings, like multi-storied buildings in Chernihiv, and also smaller private houses, villages around Chernihiv, in Nizhensky district, in Polutsky district. So the destructions are quite considerable, and there are also indirect losses, such as businesses closing down, the taxes not being paid, the technologies are being lost, and we will count all that. But speaking of some specific financial assessments, we do not have the numbers yet, but of course these are hundreds of billions of Ukrainian hryvnias. Speaking of healthcare facilities, were you able to restore their operation? The healthcare facilities in Chernihiv region continued their operation throughout the war. Specifically in Chernihiv, all of the healthcare facilities were hit by the shelling, and the TB center has been practically destroyed. The heart center that became a part of the regional hospital. Fortunately, there were no people inside when this attack has happened. So in the buildings nearby, 50 people died because they hit a residential building, but inside the heart center, no one was staying. Also, 8 facilities in total are destroyed, but the medical services were being provided throughout, and both in the city and the regional level facilities. Speaking of the road infrastructure, we know that it was crucial for Chernihiv to restore connection, road connection with Kiev. Were you able to restore it so far? Yes, we have one logistical route. It is not sufficient, and the traffic is quite heavy over there, so we are working to introduce alternative routes from Chernihiv. So once the river waters go down, we will also introduce alternative routes. which will enable unloading the current road, and also the road that's currently being used since day one. It is actually being attended to by the road service. So it was intended that it would be repaired this year, and some small repairs are being done right now. In total, over 20 bridges were destroyed in the region. Some of them were damaged by the Ukrainian army to stop the Russian troops, but also the Russian troops have exploded lots of other bridges when they were retreating. So the bridge that was joining Chernihiv and Kiev, that's a very problematic situation. So we have restored 8 bridges out of 23, and we are also working on 2 other routes. We are introducing additional roads, and in the nearest time, once the waters go down, we will introduce some temporary bridges, some temporary connections with Kiev. So, thank you. And now, dear colleagues, you have a chance to ask your questions. Please use the microphone. Okay, we have no questions. Oh, yeah, we have one.
From Greek television. Good morning. I want to ask you if in Chernihiv are the hospitals full of injured people, and do the hospitals work properly? Because we understand that there are too many injured people there and wanted to go to Kiev to have health care there. Thank you.
Yes, I heard some part of that interpretation. So indeed, we, over this time of active military aggression, I'm given some average numbers. That there were about 500 people dead and 1,500 people injured, mainly from the city of Chernihiv and the villages nearby. We are still finding the bodies, those citizens that were shot. And we are recording the crimes of the Russian Federation. The medical services were being provided, and those heavily injured who were not able to get proper services in the regional center were indeed referred to the Kiev city, thanks to the volunteers and the military. So as of now, the healthcare facilities are working in the normal mode. Thank you. Thank you for finding time and joining our air. And we will have Sergei Babak with us at 12:30. We will be discussing the work of schools and entrance into universities. Thank you.